Alright, so Pantheon Week 4 is out this week, and most people expected it to be Void and Strand Surge, but in an unexpected and honestly pretty great turn of events, it ended up being Strand and Solar, which is just fantastic. Originally, I was going to make a video talking about how Regnant is not worth using this week because Edge Transit is just so much better, and I am going to get to why that is in just a minute, but I did just want to clarify, since it's Solar and Strand Surge, two of the best rockets you can be using are Apex Predator and Semiotician. Semiotician has Field Prep and Bipod, and it's a Strand rocket, and that means that you have an exotic slot free in your energy and your top slot. So most people would probably run Witherhoard or Scatter Signal or Izanagi's Burden with either Edge Transit or Apex Predator, but if you're not running either of those, you can also run Sunshot or Polaris Lance in your energy slot, and since it's Solar Surge, both of those are going to be absolutely cooking. Match game doesn't matter either, so I would definitely recommend those, and if you're running one of those, Scatter Signal or Tusk of the Boar are both fantastic options. Scatter Signal just does a fuck ton of damage in any difficulty, and Strand Surge is just going to make it cook even harder. This is what we used for Caretaker especially last week, and it definitely put in some serious work. As far as supers go, I would recommend using Triple Shot Goldie with Star Eater Scales or Nighthawk, and Pyro Gale with Burning Maul on Titan, as well as Well of Radiance on Warlock, which I know, shocking, but also Broodweaver is another solid option as well. It's really great for locking down rooms. It's probably going to be very good on planets as well if you don't want to run Well, but I can't really see why you wouldn't be running Well or Pyro Gale or Golden Gun on the other classes. Real quick, I would also like to mention Dragon's Breath is also a fantastic option for damage, as long as you only have one person on your team running it. Make sure that it's someone that's on Solar so they can take advantage of the fragments that would actually benefit the damage on that. And additionally, Whisper is going to be very good for Oryx thanks to Solar Surge. Now, onto the topic of why Regnant is just dog shit compared to Edge Transit. It's because of Explosive Light. Explosive Light is the best perk you can get on Regnant. You can pair it with autoloading or with Envious, and I wish that I paired mine with Envious instead of autoloading, but at the same time, I never use this thing because Explosive Light is kind of shit. It only stacks up to 7 times, and Bait and Switch may not be as big of a damage bonus, but it certainly lasts longer, so for sustained damage, it is absolutely better. And since most bosses in the Pantheon are going to be 2 phases, this is definitely going to be much better to use in Pantheon. Now, once again, it's not Void Surge this week, so I wouldn't recommend using either, but thanks to Bait and Switch on Edge Transit and things like Envious Assassin and Cascade Point, it is just a much better option for when it is inevitably Void Surge, most likely next week. One thing worth mentioning about Bait and Switch that a lot of people also seem to be confused about is the fact that you don't need to proc Bait and Switch on a single target. As you can see in these clips, you can proc it by shooting multiple targets with other weapons. Deal damage with all equipped weapons in a short time to give this weapon a damage boost. The damage boost is pretty significant even after getting nerfed. It's still very solid. So now I know the boss in that Lost Sector is not one that you'd be using to test damage on. That was mostly just to show the difference between the 2 perks. As you can see, it took 2 shots from each grenade launcher to kill it, but again, Bait and Switch stays up easier, and you don't have to worry about picking up Orbs of Light or anything, or Orbs of Power, whatever. You don't have to do any of that. It takes almost no setup. All you have to do is just shoot the other weapons you have equipped. You just have to tap your weapon swap button and left click or pull the trigger on your controller. That's it. It's not very difficult. It's much better than using Regnant, and I would honestly recommend using Bait and Switch over any other damage perk on a grenade launcher because it's just easy and it's consistent, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Now this week, if you are going to be using a grenade launcher though, we don't really have any good solar options, but I would definitely recommend running the Cataphract grenade launcher, which is a trials weapon. I do not have one, but pretty much everybody I know that does have one knows just how good it is and that it absolutely cooks. It can get Bait and Switch, it can get Envious. I would definitely recommend this for running Pantheon this week and probably next week as well, though rockets will cook much better this week thanks to things like Apex Predator and Gallarhorn both receiving that big Solar Surge bonus. So yeah, if you guys found this helpful, don't forget to drop a like or leave a comment on what you and your team have been using for Pantheon over the past few weeks, and I will catch you guys later.